Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make chili lime jelly. This is a favorite condiment of mine, and one of the reasons I researched this recipe is that I found that if you could find it, it was usually in the gourmet section of the grocery store, and they sold it in these like tiny little jars with a fancy ribbon on it for $7 or $8. And I just knew it couldn't be that complicated, and I was right. So you only need a few ingredients for this. Here they are. And for tools, you're going to need, just your regular good old 3-quart saucepan. Now, I've got a small strainer for this. If you want to use a slotted spoon, that's fine. But you'll see during the recipe that this will really come in handy if you've got one of these. Measure the sugar, the vinegar, and the chili flakes directly into your pan. Start that on medium heat and just stir it up with a wooden spoon and let it come to a boil. While you're working on that, you can get your lime juice ready. Now, this step with the strainer is not strictly necessary. It just lends a much nicer presentation to the finished jelly. So, get your limes cut open. Oh yeah, and a word to the wise, if you've got granite or marble, as soon as you're finished this, get a wet cloth and wipe up the lime juice right away because it can etch your counter. And I've got this nice lemon reamer, color coded, yellow for lemons, green for limes. I don't think it really matters, it's more of a size issue. Now, as I'm juicing these, you can see that while these are seedless, they do generate a fair amount of pulp, which is why I do want to use the strainer. Plus, it gives you something to do while the sugar's coming to a boil here. If you are going to be using a strainer, the fastest way is just to get yourself a second bowl and basically just pour it out. And just slowly rotate the strainer to let the juice get through the pulp. And when you have out as much as you think you're going to get, just discard it into the other bowl. And go back to the stove and check on your mixture. I always turn my pan down if I'm going to step away from the stove. It's a very good habit to get into. That way you don't have things boil over on you, especially hot sugar mixtures, which make a horrible mess to clean up. You can turn this up while you're heating it just to get it to come to the boil, and then turn your heat down to keep it controlled. So it has just come to a boil now, and I'll zoom in there so you can get a good close look at it. Now, one thing to be careful of with this, there's something with the chemistry of this that usually when you stir a boiling mixture, it will stir it down if it's going to boil over. This stuff, for some strange reason, when you stir it, foams up. Okay? So, take-home lesson is don't stir it excessively. You can stir it a little bit like I'm doing just to get it mixed in, then take the spoon out, and it will settle back down. So keep an eye on your clock and boil this for 5 minutes. And you'll notice that there will be a nice color change in the syrup, and it'll get nice and dark. At the 5-minute mark, what you'll do is turn off the heat. You can just leave it on that burner for the time being. Let the foam subside and get your strainer and start getting out the chili flakes. And I just got another little bowl here. I'll just pop those into. Now, it is not critical that you fish out every one. You do want to leave a few in here for texture and character of the gel, but you do want to try to get out most of them. Now what I do is I basically chase it around until I've got nearly all the seeds out, at which point I'll just leave whatever flakes are in there plus a couple of seeds. That's good. Get your envelope of liquid pectin, squeeze that into the pan. Then turn the heat back on. And just get your spoon going again. And keep stirring this constantly until it comes to a boil. At which point, when it boils, you're going to boil it for 1 minute and then take it off the heat. So it's just come to a boil now. I got my timer started up for 1 minute. If it looks like it's boiling a little too high, you can turn it down now, because it's the last thing you want is to boil over literally at the last minute. You can feel it getting thicker, gel's starting to form. Okay, so it's been 1 minute. Turn the heat off and take it off the heat. I'll move it to another burner and then get the lime juice. Now the reason you put the lime juice in at the end instead of the beginning is you don't want to cook out the flavor. If you cook this for too long, you won't really be able to taste that much lime, and it will get sort of an odd burnt flavor. So what you want to do is just get this nicely stirred in. And I will zoom in because you'll see that even though it's really hot, the gel is forming slowly, and the little flakes of chili that are still in there are not floating or at the bottom. They're dispersed throughout the mixture, which is a really good sign. That means it's going to succeed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a glass and a bowl and pour this out so you can see the color. Now, if any of you out there are into home canning, yes, you can can this. I usually just leave it in either a clean glass jar or bowls in the fridge. I'm just not going to put too much in the glass. I just want you to be able to see the color. Pour the rest into the bowl here. If you're worried about presentation, yeah, you can just skim the foam off the top with a spoon. And I will come back and check on that after it's cooled. This will gel fairly quickly, and so you can see the final texture in a bowl. I left this to chill for a while. As you can see from the glass here, this is nice and solid. The bowl still has a bit of a shimmer on it. So I'm just going to scoop some out with a spoon so you can see the consistency that you do get with the finished product. So there's your chili lime jelly. Put in a bit more in the bowl there. This makes a great condiment. You can use it in recipes. You can put it on some toast if you're adventuresome. Yeah, a little spoon of this in stir fries or something really adds a nice flavor accent. I would recommend that you keep this refrigerated. I don't know what could grow in here considering the level of sugar, acidity, and spice, but I'd keep it covered in the fridge anyways. If you're inclined to canning, you can can this and give it away as gifts. So there's my chili lime jelly. Thanks for watching. I do hope to see you again. Bye-bye.